Sometimes we find ourselves doing things that we may not know or realize that can put us into danger. So every child deserves the best growing up in terms of safety, nurturing environment, and even that filled with love, care, protection, and opportunities. So I try to mind my own business, but at the same time, I use this channel for education content just so one person can learn. One person's mistake can be a very good learning opportunity for everybody else. So let's talk about child endangerment. So this sometimes a child can be left or put at risk. It may be intentional or unintentional. However, whoever is on the receiving side may look at it differently. In so some of the things that can happen which may put a child at risk or at danger include things like being left alone in a vehicle, being left without food, medical care, or even without shelter. And some other things are leaving a child in a vehicle unattended. And this is something that happened to a lady here in Houston area who left her 9-year-old, I believe, in a car for 8 hours as she was working. And this is really sad situation because the child never made it, unfortunately. And this was like the third or fourth time that she did this. I just saw this in news the other day and I was like so sad because her situation is very, very unfortunate. She is a single mother who was just trying to make ends meet. And as you know, here in the US, childcare is very, very expensive. And if you don't have help, it's one of those things that you have to really maneuver through in terms of your time, in terms of finances, to make sure your child gets the best care she can. But that's not why I'm making this video. If you've seen my title, police was called to this person's house just because of what she did and posted on social media. So watch this.
It's okay, sorry.
So the video we just watched, this is Olivia Chukwu. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. She is a Nigerian lady, married and lives in the UK right now with her husband and her 2 kids, a girl and a boy, and currently expecting their 3rd child who is on the way. Unfortunately, she posted a video on social media which struck people. When you have over 10 million followers, anything can go whichever way, whether it's intentional or unintentional. And let me let you know that all these 10 million plus followers that she has, not even a quarter of them have her best in interest. So after she posted that video, she was woken up early in the morning by the police officers. And this is because somebody had called on her because of the video she posted. If you look at this video closely, you'll realize that she is holding or lifting her child by one arm and throwing him onto the bed. And in this case, she ends up lifting the bed and the child is still on the bed. I can look at this in different ways as an African woman, as a mother, and as somebody in healthcare profession. As a healthcare professional, you are entitled to be a mandatory reporter. Is this putting this child at danger? I don't know. I don't want to judge, but somebody else looked at it differently. You may look at it in a way that to you it doesn't look like a really serious case, but to somebody else, to them this is endangerment. So let's look at this in a different angle. Lifting a child who I believe is 2-3 years old, somewhere around there, probably weighing around 18 to 20 pounds with one arm like this. This can be looked at in a way that's putting this child in danger because the strain when you lift a child from a ground level to off the ground with one arm can be looked at as an abuse. I follow her on social media, shares her videos on TikTok, YouTube, and on Facebook. And I can tell you that I love her content. She is just an African woman doing her things. We look at things differently as Africans. But when you are in a foreign country, the rules play differently. As somebody who's worked in corrections for 6.5 years, I can tell you that this simple video can land somebody in jail. because they consider that as child endangerment. And these are some of the things that can happen when you are suspected to be causing child endangerment to your child, whether it's your biological child, adopted child, or somebody else's child. You can be fined and you can be taken to jail. You can lose your custody of the child, and you can have this as a permanent criminal record. So why am I putting this video out here? And it's just to educate and to enlighten us that whatever we put on social media can be used against us, as it was done in this case. So I use this as a typical example because to her it was just a normal day, a normal child crying, and all she needed to do was just lift him up and put him on the bed. But somebody else who watched this video looked at it differently and called the social or rather the security services for her. So let us just be mindful of what we put on social media and how it can be used against us. As somebody who's creating content, I use this as a learning opportunity because I don't want to find myself in that situation. And if I do, please, I pray that all goes well, because this is one thing, one situation you don't want to find yourself in, because it can dirty your records in one way or another. So I hope this is a learning opportunity for you as well, and you can utilize this to educate other people and just to be mindful and filtering what you decide to put on social media. Because if you have more than a certain number of followers, or even if you don't have followers, your friends can use this against you. So join me in my next video. Till next time, bye.